Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about this bad boy here right in the middle of the screen, the Forge. I want to do an updated video on this now for 2023. We've had new gear sets coming into the Forge, obviously just new gear sets in general in the game. Artifacts Ascension is in now as well. So yeah, I want to tell you what I think of each of these different sets, which charms I use for these different sets, and yeah, generally speaking, what you should look out for to get the most out of this feature, because it is one of the most powerful sources of gear in the game. It can be absolutely game changing. Look, without any further ado, let's dive in. Swift Parry. Swift Parry is actually better than I probably originally gave it credit for last time I did a video like this. A lot of people commented saying that actually Swift Parry for them is their fastest gear on their account, right? When you think about it, speed gear from Dragon, pretty low chance to drop that speed gear, and then you have to get it to roll. Number one, have the speed substat and have a decent main stat to roll into that speed substat, etc., etc. The chances of it happening are just quite low. So a lot of people find that Swift Parry actually ends up being the fastest gear on their account. So for their fastest champion, for their speed champions, for Arena, Swift Parry is the way they go. So yeah, for forging up Swift Parry, it's quite rare too with the core hammers. You get sort of a steady supply, but not unlimited. So I would definitely be forging these with rank charms, rarity charms. And then there's two ways to do it with these two right here. So number one, I do like to put it in just empty with speed, and that's just to get any sort of piece with speed on it. I think after that, I would probably be taking out the speed charm and putting in boots and HP percent charm. And I'm just going to be searching for 6-star speed boots. And I think that actually becomes much more important now with Gear Ascension, right? Where you're going to need, I don't know, a good few speed boots and ascend them up to actually get a 6-star speed boot with speed. That can be an okay thing to hunt for here as well, I think. It's not the worst thing in the world. You might get some decent speed boots along the way. I feel like the type of champion you're going to be running fast in Swift Parry is typically going to be a pretty tanky champion. So yeah, that's sort of how I would like to do it. A little bit of flexibility there. It sort of depends on your luck and how you roll. Like, let's say you get lots of good weapons, helmets, and shields. You can then maybe throw in gloves or chest pieces with speed glyphs as well instead. It's up to you. Deflection. This is a set I simply do not forge at all. Skip this one almost entirely at the moment. Maybe we'll come back to it at some point. It's not a bad set, but I would rather be forging the Swift Parry. Certainly, we do know, by the way, that there are Great Hall chests coming to the game. They've said that this is something that is coming. I have the points to finally finish my Great Hall here. And then with your excess Great Hall medals, you're going to be able to get Great Hall chests. So if you're as far into the game as I am, you might actually start getting a lot of Swift Parry and Deflection gear from that. And at that point, when those chests come to the game, you might not actually forge these at all, or you might forge up a few Deflection just to get some complete sets. We shall see, but something to bear in mind. Next up, we've got Resilience and Perception. These are the two sets you can gather the materials from Faction Wars. Resilience, for me, is a never any charm set. Never, ever. Just completely empty and just craft away. Reason being, you're actually going to get tons of all of the materials that you require for this if you're farming Faction Wars and farming your Classic Arena regularly. It's just going to build up. And this set isn't that good. For the most part, I'm just selling all of this. This is your gold mine. This is your silver mine, right? This set right here, you're going to forge tons of it and sell almost all of it. This is how you're going to spend your excess Magisteel and so on. I would say if you get a really good piece, then you can keep that piece individually. It's not a bad set to sort of fill in a random couple of pieces or a piece here or there, broken sets, if you get a really good piece. But I certainly wouldn't be putting in my charms. But look, if a 6-star HP percent glove comes out with speed and defense percent and resistance, you're going, okay, you know what? I'm going to keep that and I'm going to roll it up and see if it rolls well, right? But I'm not hunting out pieces in Resilience. Perception, on the other hand, I definitely am going to be putting some charms into this. Again, you get so many of these, you can just forge a whole bunch without charms and hope for the best. Then this is actually a decent one to put in your rank and rarity charms. And I'd often be putting in accuracy charms to this as well. With Perception, this is the gear that you're going to be putting on champions that really do want accuracy and or speed as well. The two sort of together. So you can sort of mix and match, but you're not really going to use accuracy charms on other sets, but you will use speed charms. So I like to use accuracy right here. And again, with Ascension in the game now, this is a really good one to now start throwing in boots or chest plate or gauntlet, searching for those HP percent chest and gauntlets really, and speed boots are the high priority things to get in there. Likely for me and for a lot of you, perception is going to be by far your best gear set in the game. Because you're just going to get so much of it, and it is actually worth putting some of this stuff in. You're going to have some really, really good perception gear out there. Affinity Breaker then comes from Doom Tower. This set is just absolutely terrible. This is not worth forging. I wouldn't even forge this to sell unless like you're super out of resilience. I just keep this here in case they one day buff this set, but for right now it is total trash. Untouchable. This set is okay. I personally feel like it's mostly replaced by Stone Skin. In super high-end arena, it can definitely have some uses where you're worried about bomb champions messing with your Stone Skin. That's not really a thing for most people, though. I think for 99% of you watching, 99.9% of you watching, Stone Skin is a straight upgrade, pretty much. So, yeah. Untouchable, I wouldn't particularly bother making this set. So I generally sort of skip it, to be honest. Fatal. This is a set that actually I will forge up a little bit of. But again, this is a no charm set, right? This is just, hey, I might farm some up, and in the bad Doom Tower rotation, so like rotation 2 of Doom Tower, farm up some Fatal, and yeah, maybe build some. If you want, you could throw some attack percentage charms in there. Attack percentage charms don't really get used much, and you're really looking for this for a double offset, piece, mini set for some sort of attack nuker. Get a bit of crit rate out, attack percent. I'd definitely be saving my crit rate charms for lethal gear. So I would not waste crit rate charms. I would be saving those. But you could throw crit damage or attack percent in. They're not really going to be used much elsewhere. But I'd definitely be saving at least rarity charms. Throw some rank charms in maybe. But yeah, not a great set. It's only okay. Frostbite. This is a very underrated set. Frostbite is actually genuinely really good. This has become more of a thing now with champions running polymorph, stun sets, fearsome presence, right? Fearsome presence ups the chance of polymorph. It ups the chance of stun set and provoke set to land their debuffs. But guess what? It also ups the chance to freeze from frostbite. So you can like quadruple dip, triple dip with that build. So I think frostbite actually becomes really good. This is my #1 set to farm in rotation 1 of the Doom Tower. In fact, it's the only rotation where you can farm frostbite. So it's the top boss of Doom Tower hard if you can get there, the top boss of normal. And yeah, I would recommend actually farming this. And this one is probably worth some rank and rarity charms. And then I personally would be putting speed charms into it as well. This is what I'd be doing with Frostbite. Generally going to be pretty tanky champions that are running those stun sets, etc. Something like Uko, Mighty Uko would be a great example. Or Tormund the Cold would be another really good example. Building them for pure crowd control, putting them in stun plus frostbite, something like that, can be pretty potent. Or provoke plus frostbite. So provoke them in and then maybe freeze them when they attack you. Good potent combo, again, with polymorph and fearsome presence mastery. Bloodthirst, this set is maybe okay early game. Again, for me, this is a set I would not bother forging with any charms, though. It's going to be okay sort of filler, but you should have some lifesteal pieces just from doing Dragon. You'll pick up some good lifesteal pieces doing fusions and stuff. You can maybe forge some good Bloodthirst pieces just forging it, but not a set I'm really going to waste any charms on or build many people in at all. It's sort of a niche set, very niche. Guardian set is actually really, really good, and this is a set that you can use charms on. For this one, if you're forging it with no slots in here, HP percent charm is okay, because you can totally run someone, let's say in Hydra, Guardian set is great, but you might need to run that person in an accuracy chest. You could get in like an accuracy chest with HP percent substats, not bad. You probably want HP percent gloves. So again, if you're going to make some gloves here, gauntlets, I take the HP percent off. It ups the chance of substats, but not the main stat. And you could throw on maybe speed instead. This would be an okay one for accuracy or resistance as well, depending on the type of champ you're running in Guardian. And yeah, again, it's just a good set as well for speed in terms of those fairly quick, tanky champions that are going to be giving you a bit of protection. So there's some flexibility here. Sort of like if you think of a specific champion or type of champion you have that you would run in Guardian for Hydra, something like that. This is a really, really, really strong set for Hydra, for killable teams and clan boss. Just general support champions for protecting your team, keeping them alive, mitigating the damage they're going to take, and healing that person up. HP percent is like the stat or substat you really want to see on this. Fortitude. Actually pretty good. So the problem with Fortitude is that Lethal is in the same Doom Tower rotation. That's Doom Tower rotation 3, and Lethal is so much better. So you're not going to get much Fortitude. It might be worth maybe throwing some rank and rarity charms in, but because you're probably not going to farm this set, and you're probably not, like, it's not really the meta at the moment to build people with high resistance, it's a bit more of a question. If you are going to do the rank and rarity, obviously, just in general, this is the set for resistance charms. This is the one if there's any set at all. So that could be an okay thing to do. But yeah, I don't know about this one. It's tricky because unless you're going to put a lot of stuff into this, you're not going to get that many good pieces. It is only a 2-piece set though, so you could build a combo somewhat easily. But yeah, for me, I'm not really forging much of this. I just forged up the stuff I had. And that's about it. But yeah, Lethal, definitely huge one to farm. This is such a good set, the best damage dealer set in the game. You're going to go in for sure with rank rarity charms and crit rate. We want crit rate substats on everything in Lethal. Definitely 100%. Also quite worthwhile to put the Gauntlet charm in here. And what we're searching for is to hopefully get a crit damage 6-star Gauntlet with crit rate substat. That is super, super good. And it's going to be the most limiting factor. You're going to pick up a bunch of weapons, helmets, and shields just doing this as well that will roll well. You'll be okay there. And then you're probably going to be looking for the chest or the boots in a different set unless you get, again, kind of lucky and you get one while you're forging this up too. That's what you're looking for. And ideally, we want to crit damage gauntlets that do ascend with crit damage as well. One thing you can do is you can potentially keep gauntlets in this set, just any gauntlet, roll them up to 12, ascend them, look for the crit damage ascension, and then use Chaos Ore to see if they'll roll into crit damage. So then you get crit damage or crit damage. That's something you can do, and that can make it the gauntlets worthwhile even without the crit rate charms. You're not going to really use the crit rate charms for anything else. It's kind of a whale tactic, to be honest. Like, that's pretty tough. It's something you can do. You're going to need a lot of energy and a lot of silver to do it. So it's more of an end game thing, but it's a cool strategy to be aware of. Like, if you really don't have any good crit damage gauntlets, that could be a good thing to do. Could make your nuker really strong, right? Getting an extra 20% crit damage on crit damage gauntlets, a pretty big boost of stats. Having at least one makes a pretty big difference to your account. So that's something you can totally do. But yeah, gauntlets are sort of the premium currency here, I would say, for Lethal. Instinct. This is a Forge Pass set, so you have to buy this set. This set's not bad. It's kind of like a mini Savage set. It's like a mini Lethal. You're losing a bit of that ignore defense. You're getting 12% speed. It's a solid set. I am still on the fence about whether to invest charms. If you got excess rank and rarity charms, it can be okay. If you're going to buy this pass. I think I bought it once. I got a few good pieces, but not too many. It'd be a similar sort of thing. You know, gauntlet charms are going to be good here. Looking for crit damage, you could throw crit rate in here. You could just use your crit damage or attack percent charms or something like that in this set. That might work okay. You could even throw some speed charms, though they're very likely to be overly in demand. You're probably not going to have any to spare to put into this set. Sort of the thing with the Forge these days, you have to pick and choose, sort of set your priority list and use your charms up that way. Yeah, Instinct, I think it's okay. You can probably just forge it without charms, but it is quite limited, so bear that in mind. Bolster set then is a really high priority set. This is very, very strong, a protected shield with healing every turn. Very powerful for the arena in particular, or any sort of wave-based content even. With this one, this is actually quite interesting. So if you're forging weapons, helmets, or shields, you're going to want absolutely to be running HP percentage charms on it. No question. Now, when it comes to the bottom, to the gauntlets, chest, and boots, you're really looking for HP percent main stat on each of these. So the substat charm there is not going to help you. This is where the defense charm probably comes into its own. You're just going to have a really slow champion, something like a Nekret or an Ursaga, right? Big tanky champion putting out a massive bolster shield. They're going to be really slow, really tanky. It's going to make your team hard to kill is sort of the point of this. So this is sort of the build you'd be going for with those, right? And look, you're looking for HP percent main stat that preferably ascends with HP percent, with defense percent substat as well, would be the way I would go. You could also build some faster bolster champions with speed, but like once more, I don't think you're going to have the speed charms to spare, so I wouldn't really bother. I'd be going defense percent charms here. Or if you're going to be forging without any of this, I'd definitely be running HP percent charms if you're going to be forging without any type charms as well. So yeah, bolster set really strong. One of the best Forge Pass, probably the best Forge Pass set. Defiant is really good as well. I've got a whole bunch here. So you can see, right? Like, I don't have enough rarity charms to forge all this Defiant gear. So your rank and your rarity charms are going to be a very limiting factor. And rarity charms are rarer than rank charms too. So this is definitely a set where rank and rarity charms are good to run together. Defense plus 10% and less damage from enemy AoE attacks. Very powerful for keeping you alive. It's just great. This is a set where you're kind of looking for just random pieces to fill in, just 2 pieces to go alongside your 4-piece. So I don't feel like you're too pushed into going for any of these. And I would probably be throwing on defense percent charms. Is probably how I would go. Again, you're hoping for HP percent main rolls. Speed boots would be pretty good in this set as well for those faster, tankier champions. Again, speed charms would be good as well. You always want speed, but you might not have any to spare. Defense percent charms tend to be pretty plentiful. So I'll be sort of looking for HP or defense percent charms on this one, depending on which one you've got lots of. Like, if you're not buying bolster, you're probably going to have lots of HP percent charms, right? So you can spare a good few of those. It depends. But yeah, I feel like defense percent is a bit better on this, whereas Guardian really wants the HP percent. And Bolster really wants to be rolling HP percent to make the shield and the healing better, you know? So yeah, look, there you go. That is sort of my attitude, my approach to this, what I'm trying to do. Like, for me, at the moment, I'm definitely looking to forge up my Defiant gear, like I said. Definitely the rank and rarity charms are going to make the biggest difference right there. And I'm just sort of looking for any particular pieces this time around. It's the first time I bought this pass. And like I said, I'm forging it with defense percent. I actually have a lot of speed saved up, 167. So I would probably forge, you know, a good 60 of these. I'll probably use all these rarity charms to forge a good 60 with speed, see how I'm doing, and then reassess, because it's such a limited set. I'll see, like, oh, I've got pretty good speed on this gear, but I might need a bit more defense. And again, you can stop and be like, oh man, I've got tons of weapons, charms, and helmets, like, you know, what weapons, helmets, shields. I don't have anything else to go with it, though. And at that point, I might throw in one of these, depending on what I'm missing the most of. Try to forge them up. The other big thing I'm searching for at the moment is perception boots. That's how I've spent a lot of these, is looking for those 6-star perception boots with accuracy. I'm looking for champions for live arena in particular, where I get 6-star speed boots that ascend speed with accuracy substats and accuracy substat rolls in perception. We're stacking just as much speed and accuracy as possible for champions like Yumiko. I've got Prince Kaimar, those sort of champions, just getting the most out of them. It makes a pretty big deal for any debuffer in arena. This is just the set. This is the set to go for. So that's what I'm looking to do with perception. And then I'll probably do again some swift parry with speed as well. Swift parry with speed, trying to build up some, hopefully look for some triple or quad roll speeds in those. And I'm not too fussy about that gear at the moment. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking for. Let me know what you're doing. What is your plan? What is your approach? How do you do this? I'm curious. Oh, I also should not forget to mention I'm forging up some Frostbite too. But yeah, you got to really make that priority list, because your charms are, you're not going to have enough charms to forge all of this stuff. It's just not possible. And there's no harm in hanging on to like a bunch of this stuff in the forge until you do get some of those charms, because especially for the paid sets where it's real money to buy them, yeah, you know, you could just skip one of the forge passes, save some real life money, and wait until you get the charms to actually do it if you need. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you found it helpful. Hope you found it interesting, and I will see you all next time.